What it is, though? It's your boy Crook LDB Team 100. We in here, sure. And today we got another reaction video by the one and only Jimmy High Roller. Yes, it is Jimmy High Roller today with the harsh truth about the GOAT debate. Now, we done talked about Jordan versus LeBron on this channel before. That's actually one of our biggest videos on this channel, which will be a never-ending debate because now LeBron is trying to chase the number one spot as far as scoring. He's trying to solidify himself and put himself close to Jordan as possible. That's the only reason why he's playing. But we're gonna get right into it without further ado. Like, comment, and subscribe, please.
It's never gonna end, is it? LeBron's reign over the NBA. I've just come to the conclusion that LeBron has hacked into the Matrix and has transcended aging. LeBron is in his 19th NBA season and is somehow still one of the best players on the planet. This isn't supposed to happen. 99% of NBA players peak in their mid to late 20s and then slowly regress as they age, eventually becoming a liability to their team and inevitably sailing off into the sunset, washed up and content with their achievements. But not LeBron. The man is fighting his age like he's got a grudge on time itself. And the more he piles up on these
Him and Tom Brady are the poster childs of going out on your own terms, bro. Those two are one of many few athletes that will continue to push the boundaries of Father Time catching up on you, and they still do not have a performance issue, lag, anything like that, bro. Like, they really set the bar and the pinnacle like real high. I mean, you're starting to see it a little bit more frequently. So like now I think Matt Ryan's like 39. Breeze was playing till he was like 42. Rodgers is like 41. You feel me? LeBron is 37. Melo's like 35. Like, it's starting to be a lot of people that's playing up there in age. I'm not even gonna lie.
We hate to do this, but is LeBron the greatest basketball player of all time? And if he isn't, what would he need to do to truly, once and for all?
But honestly, that's how you know his IQ is amazing. You can tell LeBron's IQ is amazing and that he really studies the game just by not being a drop-off, bro. By just not being a drop-off, you can definitely tell. Oh, I thought it was an ad. My bad, y'all. He normally have ads in here, so.
About 5 years ago, I uploaded my first basketball-related video onto this channel. The title of that video is LeBron the GOAT. You can still watch this video today, but since it's an absolute dog water of a production, I highly recommend you steer clear of it. To summarize the video, I gave 10 reasons why LeBron would retire as the GOAT. Fast forward 5 years and thousands of hours of watching games, collecting data, and gathering context in this sport that we love. I've since changed my ways and realized that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. But my original assessment from 5 years ago hasn't completely changed, because I never said LeBron was the GOAT at the time. I just gave 10 reasons why LeBron would retire as the GOAT. But ever since I dropped that video, I've pretty much avoided the GOAT conversation altogether. I've put a spin on the idea of the greatest players in certain aspects of the game. I've talked about the greatest scorers, I've ranked players using purely numbers, but I've never really broken down who the greatest player is, in my opinion, because I just feel like the topic is a bit redundant. And ESPN already gives you a daily update on the GOAT debate anyways, so no need for me to do it. But
and I don't like watching
I think it's time we actually discuss this. Because what LeBron is doing at this point in his career,
because they talk about LeBron every segment.
At the moment, there are pretty much 3 different camps on the whole GOAT debate. People who think Michael Jordan is the GOAT, people who think LeBron is the GOAT, and people who are wrong. I'm just joking, of course.
Hey,
but not really. I'd say about 75% of people fall into the MJ's the GOAT category, about 20% of people fall into the LeBron's the GOAT category, and about 5% fall into the other category. Usually these other fans believe the GOAT is Wilt or Kobe or Kareem. There's not many of them, but boy, will they die on that hill. See, the thing here is that a lot of the fans in MJ's corner believe that he is and will forever be the GOAT. But realistically, is there anything LeBron can do to surpass him? I mean, there's gotta be some sort of objective metric we can use to distinguish the greatest player of all time. No opinions, no bias, just the facts. If LeBron somehow won 4 more championships and retired with 8 rings, he'd undoubtedly be the GOAT, right? So there are paths for him to become the greatest ever. But where does that threshold lie? And what would LeBron have to achieve?
I feel like in some people's minds, LeBron would never be the GOAT, bro. Like, they be moving the goalpost for LeBron sometimes. Like,
First,
again, I'm not a
let's just take
LeBron
look
fan,
at the
but I
basic
respect
numbers.
greatness, bro. A lot of
Between
people are not
Michael
going to
and
give him the
LeBron
head
has
nod,
more
bro.
career points, rebounds,
They never gonna give him the head
blocks, more triple doubles, higher field goal percentage, and a higher three-point percentage. And Michael has more steals and a higher free throw percentage. But this whole argument, the career totals argument, is only useful in demonstrating LeBron's longevity and sustained excellence.
Right.
These numbers don't prove that LeBron's a better scorer, or rebounder, or defender, or shooter than Jordan. They just prove that LeBron's been good at these things for a very, very long time. These numbers also show just how versatile LeBron is, possibly his most valuable asset. So instead of looking at career totals, let's look at career averages. Michael averages more points and more steals, and LeBron averages more assists and more rebounds. And as much as it pains me to say this, this is usually where the argument for the GOAT ends for most people. Throw in a required comment about their finals records, and you pretty much have a condensed version of most GOAT debates.
Yeah,
but
bro.
there is so much more to unpack here. So let's unpack it.
Always, bro. That's why I said
So
some
y'all
people
know
not
how
gonna
much
really
I
give
like
LeBron a
advanced
nod.
stats. They don't tell the full story, but if you know which ones to look for, you can discover some nuances in a player's game that you won't get by just watching them play. Player efficiency rating, win shares per 48, offensive box plus minus, defensive box plus minus, value over replacement, and true shooting percentage. These 6 advanced stats give us efficiency, production, value, impact, and pretty much every Jordan and LeBron James. Now, there are plenty of other awards a player can earn in the NBA, but these are the ones that really stand out on a player's resume. Championships, Finals MVPs, regular season MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, All NBA selections, and All Defensive Team selections. And amongst these 6 categories, Jordan beats LeBron in 5 of them. And Michael accomplished all of this in just 15 seasons to LeBron's full 18 seasons. The only category where LeBron outperforms Michael is in all NBA selections. And most will argue that, again, this is an accomplishment of longevity more than anything else, which, at this point, seems to be the overall theme in the GOAT debate. Up to this point in his career, the majority of fans will agree that LeBron has been a step below Jordan in terms of greatness. So now the race to become the GOAT has become a marathon. Because eventually, the sheer volume of LeBron's career numbers and achievements may become so overwhelming that we'll.
But one thing I can say about LeBron, though,
in fact,
I feel like LeBron will always have a chip on his shoulder, and that's why I feel like he's still playing until he's like 40 damn near. Like, I think that he knows that a lot of people are always gonna move the goalposts. Like, I like some people already have in their head Jordan is the GOAT. Regardless, there shouldn't be no conversation. I don't know why LeBron is even in the conversation. That's just what it is. But LeBron is trying to do everything he can to make sure that you can get some of that doubt out your mind. How are you going to deny me when I am top 2 in scoring? If I'm top 10 in rebounds, top 10 in assists? You know what I mean? There's no way you can debate that. So I really do think that he's really trying to make a way to go out his way to prove everybody wrong. Excuse me. I mean, I like his motive, but it's just like, dude, why are you playing? You got 4 rings, you got 4 MVPs. Like, why are you still playing? But he really wants to be up there with Jordan, bro. Like, he really do.
Greatest player
he
of
really
all time,
do.
Which brings
but
us
I
to
can't be mad at him
the
because if you got a chance to look greatness in the face, why not? I would never hate on no man who feels like he could be great at something enough to the point where you can get put in the same conversation as the best who ever did it. Who would not chomp at that opportunity, bro? If you are in a company, if you're running a business, right? If I'm running a business and my business is going so good, I get to sit in a room with the likes of Elon Musk, Bill Gates, even to the level of, like, let's say for instance a Diddy, a 50 Cent. Why would I not do that? Regardless on, it may seem like a lot to get there, and that's my intention. Y'all know what I'm doing. Why would I not get to that pinnacle, bro? If I get to sit in a room with the greatest to ever do it, come on. I'm not going to hate on no man who strives for greatness. Just like his slogan. I'm just saying. And I'm not a LeBron fan. I am not a LeBron fan. I just respect LeBron's greatness. You feel what I'm saying? I try to understand both sides of the coin. You get what I mean? Like, you got to respect it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Twice as bright, burns half as long. A great quote by the ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu regarding the idea of,
but a lot of people be criticizing him because he's still playing. Like, bro, let that man let that man do what he want to do, bro.
Now, in the world of basketball and sports in general, usually being exceptional translates to longevity and vice versa. Michael Jordan was excellent for 13 seasons in the NBA. His flame was violently bright, and it burned for quite some time. But what if there was a flame that burned about 95% as bright and lasted much, much longer? At a certain point, the radiance of even the brightest flame is outclassed by the flame that just won't quit. Of course, LeBron isn't a flame. He's a 6'9", 250-pound freak of nature in basketball shoes, but his light shines about 95% as bright as Michael Jordan's did, and it's lasting a whole lot longer. When does the longevity of LeBron's brilliance simply outmatch the slightly greater but much shorter brilliance of Michael? Because as we've discussed, Mike trumps LeBron in pretty much every single metric other than longevity and overall production. So the real question here is, how much longer will LeBron have to be excellent before the majority agrees that he is greater than Michael was?
That's a great question, bro.
The man is in his 19th NBA season.
That's a great question.
He's leading the NBA in scoring. He's still a top 5 player in the league, and his bag is getting deeper and deeper with every season. Here's a chart of LeBron's total points, assists, and rebound averages throughout each season of his career. Each point on the graph represents the total average of points, assists, and rebounds for every season of his career. So, for example, this season LeBron is putting up 8, 6, and 30 a game, so his total for the season is 44. Now, in the NBA, anything above a total of 40 is exceptional. LeBron's total production has exceeded 40 in 17 different seasons.
Makes sense.
Now here's Michael's total average points, assists, and rebounds for every season of his career. This is by far the greatest argument in favor of LeBron in the GOAT debate. The man has simply sustained excellence for longer than Mike did. And although the numbers are just a vehicle to greatness, there has got to be a point where the numbers are just too glaring to ignore. LeBron's numbers are getting to that point. But some fans will argue that there were other players that were still really good this late in their career. You mean like Kareem, or Kobe, or Karl Malone? They weren't even close. LeBron's already the only player to be a part of the 30K, 10K, 10K club. Aside from a freak injury, he'll undoubtedly break Kareem's scoring record. He'll probably play the most seasons in an NBA career. He already has the record for most All-NBA selections, and he's still adding to what is probably the longest career highlight reel with moments like this.
Yeah, so it's like as he keeps going, bro, he's just adding to his legacy, bro.
NBA numbers, I really think it's going to be difficult to say that he's not the greatest player ever.
Exactly.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it.
When it's all said and done, bro, the conversation gonna change, bro.
More seasons, Michael's legacy would have been slightly diminished if he played more seasons. Of course, this isn't a matter of fact, but all the evidence points towards this assumption. Michael Jordan retiring after playing just 13 NBA seasons in 1998 was the best thing he could have ever done for his legacy. The Bulls were not going to win another championship, and the backbone of the dynasty he had built had all but vanished by the beginning of the 1999 season. If he had played through that 3-year retirement gap from 1999 to 2001, he would have either stayed with the Bulls and put up huge numbers on a losing team, or signed with a different team and chased rings. Both options being far less illustrious than him going out on top with the team that drafted him. Michael's career was the perfect storm. He was drafted by a franchise that was ready and willing to build around him. He was on a roster that suited his skill sets extremely well, and he and the Bulls peaked right as the dominant teams from the 80s and early 90s like the Lakers, Celtics, and Pistons began to fade away. You could not have written a better career if you tried. On the other hand, despite his success, LeBron really got the short end of the deal many times throughout his career. He spent his first 7 seasons in the NBA playing for a team that could not have cared less about building a coherent team around him. He spent 4 straight finals going toe-to-toe with the most dominant dynasty in modern NBA history outside of Jordan's Bulls. While Michael was surrounded by players who were all willing
and that's one thing you can't deny about LeBron, though.
Spent many years carrying
LeBron always played tough competition, bro.
Incompetent teammates. Part of which is his own fault for trying to play GM and putting together piss-poor rosters. And I bring up these small nuances because the GOAT debate is very nuanced. As much as people want to act like the whole 6-0 in the finals is the end-all be-all to the discussion, it's just not. If rings were all that mattered, then Bill Russell would be the GOAT. Oh, but he played a long time ago. That doesn't count. Okay, well then Robert Horry is the GOAT because he has 7 rings to Jordan's 6. Well yeah, but Horry wasn't the best player on any of those championships. Okay, so is the argument about rings, or is it about being the best player on the court, or a mixture of both? Exactly. Is a player's performance, despite how masterful it was, all in vain if his team loses? The line becomes less and less clear the deeper you dig. No single metric can be used to determine this debate, and the unpacking of every small minute detail is a necessary burden. But, unfortunately, it's a burden that most fans won't bother to take on. At the moment, I personally believe Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. I also think he's the best basketball player of all time. But, unlike some fans, I don't think the door has closed on LeBron. I think that if LeBron can continue to dominate the league for a few more seasons and continue to shatter our previous notions of what we thought was possible in a single NBA career, I think that he has a chance to retire as the greatest player of all time. But of course, only time will tell. And fortunately for LeBron, time seems to perpetually be on his side.
I don't know, man. I don't think that we can really judge both of them until LeBron retires. Then from that point, we'll be able to unpack all the numbers and really make a true statement. But the fact that he's still doing it to this day is just, it's crazy, bro. It's definitely crazy. I'll definitely clip the video for when I reacted to the first Jordan versus LeBron debate. But this is a debate that's going to go on for years and years and years, bro. I mean, that's just what it is. But I ain't gonna lie, LeBron actually pushed himself to the point where he's in a conversation now. There ain't really nothing we can do about it, bro. I'm just saying. I love you guys. Thank you for watching this video with me. Hope to see you on the next one. Peace.